If you're up for a challenge and enjoy that intense satisfaction of defeating a difficult boss after countless attempts, Souls-like games are your choice. The PS4 is full of incredible titles that will push your patience and skill to the limit, so come test your reflexes and strategic thinking as we explore the best Souls-like games for PS4. Bloodborne brings an intense, fast-paced experience to the Souls-like genre with its gothic horror setting and aggressive combat style. Set in the cursed city of Yarnam, you face grotesque monsters and twisted environments that pull into a world dripping with dark atmosphere. The game trades the slower, more methodical combat of the other Souls games for a faster, more aggressive approach, requiring players to be on the offensive. With each encounter, you find the combat deeply satisfying and demanding quick reflexes. Its unique regain mechanic, which lets you recover health by striking back after taking damage, keeps the adrenaline flowing. Plus, the nightmarish creature designs and the cryptic storytelling make the experience unforgettable. If you're after a gothic horror twist on Souls-like gameplay, Bloodborne is a must-play. Dark Souls 3 is the grand finale of the legendary series, bringing together the best elements from all previous games. Its world is beautifully grim, full of interconnected areas that invite exploration and discovery. The combat is fluid and punishing, with a wide array of weapons, armor, and spells to match your playstyle. One thing that stands out of its boss fights, which are some of the most epic and challenging in the genre, requiring perfect timing, patience, and strategy. Lore enthusiasts will appreciate the way the game ties together the storylines from the earlier Dark Souls games. While it's tough as nails, the sense of accomplishment after defeating a difficult boss or unraveling a new area is incredibly rewarding. It's a perfect blend of challenge, lore, and world design. If you're looking for a Souls-like with a different flavor, Sekiro offers a more action-oriented experience with a focus on precision and skill. Set in a reimagined late 1500s Japan, you play as one armed wolf, a shinobi on a mission to rescue his kidnapped lord. The game's deflection-based combat system makes every encounter feel like a deadly dance, where timing is everything. Unlike other From Software titles, Sekiro places less emphasis on RPG elements like stats and gear, focusing instead on mastering swordplay and stealth. The game also introduces a resurrection mechanic, giving you a second chance in battle, but don't let that fool you. Sekiro is brutally difficult and unforgiving. With its breathtaking environments, unique combat, and intricate storyline, this game sets itself apart as a challenging but incredibly rewarding experience. Nioh 2 takes the Souls-like formula and fuses it with fast-paced, intricate combat inspired by samurai mythology. You play as a half-human, half-yokai warrior, fighting through historical Japan during the Sengoku period, with heavy dose of supernatural enemies. The combat is incredibly deep, offering a variety of stances, weapons, and magic abilities to customize your playstyle. The game's RPG elements are also rich, allowing for tons of build variety, which keeps things fresh and replayable. Boss fights are a real test for skill and patience, pushing you to adapt and use all the tools at your disposal. If you're not a fan of Japanese history and mythology, Nioh 2 offers a captivating twist on the Souls-like genre, blending fast, technical combat with deep RPG mechanics that keep you coming back for more. Mortal Shell feels like a streamlined version of the Souls-like experience with a smaller, more focused world and mechanics that stand out as unique. You don't level up in the traditional sense, instead you possess the bodies or shells of fallen warriors, each with their own strengths and weaknesses. Combat is slower and more deliberate, requiring precise timing and smart use of the game's hardening mechanic, which lets you turn to stone to block attacks. This gives the game a distinct rhythm, and you have to constantly adapt to your shell's playstyle. The environments are eerie and the enemies even more so, keeping you on the edge at all times. It may not have the scale of other Souls-likes, but its focused, deliberate gameplay offers a refreshing take on the genre. Ever wondered what a Souls-like game would be like with guns? Remnant from the Ashes answers that question with its third-person, gun-focused combat set in a post-apocalyptic world. You can still expect the same level of difficulty and challenge, but instead of swords and shields, you'll be wielding a variety of firearms alongside melee weapons. It also has a cooperative multiplayer mode, allowing you to tackle the game's challenging dungeons and bosses with friends, which adds a different layer of fun. The game's world is randomly generated, giving each playthrough a fresh and unpredictable feel. The blend of shooting mechanics with Souls-like elements makes this one stand out in a sea of melee-focused titles. It's a unique spin on the genre, and the multiplayer aspect gives it great replay value. The Surge 2 takes the Souls-like formula into a gritty industrial sci-fi setting where you face off against robotic enemies and powerful bosses. The game builds on its predecessor by expanding its world and refining its combat system. Instead of the medieval or fantasy themes common to Souls-likes, The Surge 2 has you battling in a dystopian future, and you can target specific limbs or enemies to gain armor and weapons. It's a unique mechanic that adds a layer of strategy to each fight, as you decide which parts of your enemies you want to focus on. Exploration is rewarding, with multiple paths and shortcuts, and the game's level design encourages you to take your time and uncover hidden areas. If you're a fan of sci-fi and Souls-like difficulty, this one's worth a shot. If you're into anime aesthetics and Souls-like gameplay, Code Vein delivers that combination in spades. The game is set in a post-apocalyptic world where you play as a vampire-like Revenant with access to special powers called blood codes. You can customize your character's abilities extensively, mixing and matching different powers and weapons to suit your playstyle. Code Vein also features a companion system where you can team up with AR partners that help you in combat, which adds a slightly different dynamic to the usual lone wolf Souls-like experience. The art style is striking, with its anime-inspired characters and dark, gothic environments. While it sticks to the Souls-like formula, the companion system and unique aesthetic give it its own flavor. Plus, the lore is rich and intriguing, adding depth to the experience. Lords of the Fallen is one of the earlier Souls-like games to hit the scene, and while it doesn't quite reach the heights of the Dark Souls series, it still offers a solid experience. Set in a dark fantasy world, you play as Harkin, a convicted criminal tasked with stopping a demonic invasion. The combat is slower and weightier than some of the Souls-likes, which make each strike feel heavy and deliberate. The Demon's Souls Remake brings the game that started the Souls-like journey to the modern age with stunning visuals and refined mechanics. It's set in the kingdom of Boletaria, where a mysterious fog has unleashed powerful demons. The remake preserves the challenging gameplay and intricate level design of the original while giving a graphical overhaul that makes the dark fantasy world even more immersive. Combat is just as tough and methodical as you expect, with the same strategic depth that rewards patience and careful planning. Ashen is a Souls-like that stands out with its minimalistic art style and open-world approach. You play as a nameless wanderer in a world that's slowly being brought back to life, exploring vast landscapes filled with danger and mystery. The game's combat feels familiar with heavy strikes, precise dodging, and stamina management, but introduces a unique twist to its passive multiplayer system. You can encounter other players into your world, who can either help or hinder your progress, adding a dynamic element to the experience. Dark Souls 2 might be the black sheep of the series for some, but it still delivers a punishing and rewarding experience. The game takes place in the kingdom of Drangleic, where you, a cursed undead, are tasked with lifting the curse by facing a series of nightmarish bosses and enemies. What set Dark Souls 2 apart is its flexibility in combat builds, offering more customization in terms of stats, weapons, and spells than the other entries in the series. The remaster of Dark Souls brings back one of the most influential games in modern gaming history with improved graphics, smoother performance, and minor quality of life changes. Set in the interconnected world of Lordran, the game is all about slow, methodical exploration and challenging combat. The sense of discovery is unmatched, with hidden paths, shortcuts, and deep lore woven into every corner of the game. Boss battles are tough but fair, requiring patience, strategy, and skill. And Commander Lilies blends Metroidvania elements with Souls-like difficulty, offering a beautifully somber journey through a ruined, cursed kingdom. You play as Lily, a priestess with the power to summon fallen knights to fight on your behalf. The game is all about exploring interconnected areas, unlocking new abilities, and defeating challenging bosses. What makes it stand out is its art style, which is a mix of hand-drawn 2D visuals and hauntingly beautiful environments, combined with a hauntingly beautiful soundtrack. Although Bloodstained is more of Metroidvania at heart, its punishing difficult, precise combat and exploration give it a Souls-like edge. Created by Koji Igarashi, one of the minds behind Castlevania Symphony of the Night, this game is a spiritual successor that brings the gothic horror genre back into the spotlight. You play as Miriam, a shardbinder with the ability to absorb the powers of defeated enemies, giving you a wide range of combat and magic options. Sodom Sanctuary is a 2D side-scrolling Souls-like that captures the essence of the genre while delivering a unique experience. You explore a dark, twisted world, battling monstrous enemies and dangerous bosses, while managing your resources and upgrading your character's skills and gear. The game's hand-drawn art style gives it a gungery, eerie atmosphere, and the combat feels tight and responsive. Like other Souls-likes, the game focuses on timing, dodging, and stamina management, but introduces platforming elements and puzzles, adding to the challenge. Hyper Light Drifter is a Souls-like in spirit, offering brutal combat and a beautifully crafted world, but in a top-down pixel art style. You play as the Drifter, a lone wanderer who traverses a mysterious, decaying world filled with hostile creatures and ancient technology. The game focuses on fast-paced, precise combat, where every dodge and strike counts, and health is a rare commodity. Exploration is the key component, and the game's world is full of secrets and lore hidden in its minimalist storytelling. If you're into procedurally generated dungeons with a soul-like twist, Necropolis might pique your interest. The game combines roguelite elements with the punishing combat and dark atmosphere typical of the genre. You explore ever-changing dungeons filled with traps, enemies, and loot, and death is permanent, forcing you to start from scratch after every death. The combat is simple but challenging, requiring good timing, stamina management, and quick reflexes. Visually, it has a minimalist polygonal art style, which gives it a distinctive look while keeping the dark, eerie vibe. In Sinner's Sacrifice for Redemption, you'll be thrown into a brutal boss rush that emphasizes sacrifice over progression. The game's unique twist is that instead of leveling up and getting stronger, you must sacrifice parts of your stats to face each boss, making you progressively weaker as you advance. This creates a tense, high-stakes atmosphere as you approach each fight with fewer resources and abilities. Lies of P offers a unique blend of Souls-like mechanics and a dark reimagining of the Pinocchio story. You play as Pinocchio in a grim, Belle Epoque-inspired world filled with mechanical monstrosities and eerie atmosphere. The game sticks to the Souls-like formula with punishing combat, precise dodging, and stamina management, but introduces a weapon crafting system that allows for a lot of customization. Death's Door blends Souls-like difficulty with a Zelda-inspired world, offering fast-paced combat and a beautifully crafted, isometric environment. You play as a grotesque, reaping souls in a mysterious world filled with strange creatures and formidable bosses. The game features tight, responsive combat where dodging, timing, and using a variety of weapons and magic abilities are crucial to survival. Titan Souls is a stripped-down version of a Souls-like experience, focusing entirely on boss battles with a minimalist yet beautiful art style. In this game, you play as a lone warrior armed with just a single arrow, tasking down massive titans scattered across a mysterious world. Each boss fight is a puzzle in itself, requiring precise timing and quick reflexes, as you only have one hit point, and so do the titans. Set in a plague-ridden kingdom, Thymesia offers a fast-paced, aggressive combat experience that blends Souls-like difficulty with a unique plague-themed mechanic. You play as Chronos, a mysterious figure who wields both weapons and plague abilities to fight off hordes of grotesque enemies. The game emphasizes timing and dodging, but also introduces a mechanic where you can steal diseases from your enemies and use them against them, adding a strategic layer to the combat. Pascal's Wager delivers a deep, story-driven Souls-like experience with mobile roots, but its console and PC versions have brought it to the wider audience. Set in a grim, dark fantasy world where light itself is dying, you play as multiple characters, each with their own abilities and story arcs. The combat is similar to traditional Souls-likes with methodical dodging, parrying, and stamina management, but it also has a heavier focus on narrative, with richly developed characters and lore. The game's boss fights are challenging and designed to test your reflexes and knowledge of each character's abilities. Immortal Unchained takes the Souls-like formula and adds a heavy dose of sci-fi and ranged combat, offering a unique twist in the genre. You play as a living weapon, tasked with preventing the end of the universe, battling through futuristic environments filled with terrifying enemies and bosses. The game's biggest departure from traditional Souls-like is its focus on gunplay rather than the melee combat, though melee weapons are still an option. Chronos Before the Ashes is a prequel to Remnant from the Ashes, but it takes a more traditional approach to the Souls-like formula. The game combines a mysterious, labyrinthine world with slow, methodical combat where timing and precision are key. One unique aspect is its aging mechanic. Each time you die, your character ages, affecting your abilities and stats. This adds an interesting dynamic as you get physically weaker but gain more magical power as you grow older. Eldest Souls is a top-down Souls-like that puts all its focus on challenging boss battles, offering no enemies to grind through or levels to explore. Just pure, brutal combat. You play as a lone warrior in the desolate world, tasked with defeating the old gods who have enslaved humanity. Each boss fight is a major event, requiring perfect timing, strategic use of abilities, and understanding of each boss's unique patterns. So, did you like the games I recommend? So leave your like, subscribe to the channel to follow me, and activate the bell, because I post a lot of videos on this channel and you can't miss it. Thank you very much for following me this far, and until next time. Bye bye.